Hello, I am Lenny Gessner, Director of the College Transfer Office at Bard Queens, and I am here to talk to you about everyone's favorite topic, student debt. Okay, I'm a dork. So yeah, y'all know I'm a dork about talking about student debt because I think it's really important. I don't think people take young people seriously and talk to them enough about it. So I'm going to show you a resource that I use with students a lot when I'm thinking about, like, is this debt advisable to take out? What's the most I need to take out? What's the least I need to take out? Thinking about that. So let's say you've got the financial aid package and it says you are going to take out $5,500 your first. I'm going to do some math now. $5,500 your first year in student debt, right? So that's just your first year. So imagine you just go for your first year and then you drop out. How much would you end up paying if you went back, right? So the average interest rate right now is 5.05 and will likely be for next year as well. And the average term that they say to pay a student loan is about 10 years. You can pay it in less, you can pay it in more, but there are pros and cons to both, right? So $5,500, let's say you only go for that, remember that first year, right? And your monthly income, this is the NewYorkTimes.com like interactive student loan repayment calculator. It's pretty awesome. I'll put the link in the bottom. So what you'll pay, got a little graph here. You would pay $58.47 a month, and in the end, you end up paying $7,016. You took out $5,500, you end up paying $7,000, right? Why? It's something called interest, compound interest, right? So as the loan matures, it's getting bigger and bigger with interest, right? So this is like the loan principal, that's the original amount you took off, right? And so sometimes experts on financial debt would say the total outstanding student loan balance at graduation should be less than the annual starting salary, and ideally a lot less than the starting salary. Now, for some of you who are really sure that this is what you know exactly what you're going to do and you're going to have this kind of starting salary, cool. But a lot of y'all don't know. So you have to assume your starting salary may not be that high. It might be, especially if you're in some of the STEM fields, but also maybe not, right? Or if you're going on to grad school, which a lot of y'all are going to. So, or some other people say no former student should have to pay more than 20% of their discretionary income for all student loans from all sources. So discretionary income, what frick is that? It's down here, it describes it. Discretionary income is defined as income exceeding 150% of the federal poverty level for a single person. So complicated, right? Basically just you're above the poverty line. You're 1.5 times above the poverty line. So based on that number, they encourage you to need to make $21,000 to easily pay this debt and only have it be 20% of your income, of your discretionary income. But you're not just going for 1 year. And y'all know that if you drop out after the first year, you still have to pay this debt. This debt does not go away. I know I just made it go away, but it does not go away. So $5,500 for the first year. Right? Can you see this? $5,500. Oh, it's backwards. Well, whatever. So after that, the amount in the loans go up. So let's look at the loan caps. Loan caps per year. Oh, and then the background. Okay. So can I move to... Let's see. So loan caps per year. Actually, let's go on this page. So federal loan caps per year. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So now we're clicking on here, subsidized and unsubsidized loan. We're going to see what the caps are. Because remember, y'all are not supposed to take out private loans in your undergrad. I get mad at y'all if you do that. Boop-a-doo. How much can I borrow? How much can I borrow? Yeah. It's a bad song. That's a bad song. We don't want to play that song. So 55%, $5,500 your first year. That says dependent students, right? So those are typically students who live with their families or are dependent on their families for financial resources, which is most of y'all. Second year undergraduate loan is $6,500. Oh, it goes up a little bit. The third year is $7,500. So now we got $5,500, $6,500, and $7,500. Now let's say you go to school for 4 years. Now not all of y'all, because you college credits, you might not go for 4 years, but let's assume you go for 4 years, right? I'm going to do a little calculation. Oh, let's do a little calculator. I can do it online. Aha. Those of you playing at home, right? So $5,500 for the first year plus, and we're not even worrying about whether or not it's subsidized or unsubsidized. We're just like, okay, $6,500 plus $7,500 plus $7,500. Now this is assuming that you take out all the debt that they offer you. You do not have to take out all the debt that they offer you. So let's say they offer you $5,500 for the first year, but your family can cover enough where you only need to take out $3,500. Only take out $3,500 then. Or only take out the very much you absolutely need to take out. Don't take out a little extra to give you a wiggle room, because the truth is that wiggle room will come back to bite you later as interest builds up. So let's say, what's the total on that? $27,000. That's if you take out the maximum amount every year for 4 years. Okay, interesting. So we got that number. What did I want? New York Times student debt calc. All right, now I'm getting to the good stuff. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I don't know why I have so much fun with this. It's like an evil fun. It's like well, I feel very like it's so important for y'all to have this information, and I wish I'd had it. So, all right, so $28,650 is the national average for bachelor's degree recipients at public and nonprofit colleges who graduated in 2017 with debt. So it's actually a little bit above the overall amount. It's $28,650, and that's because what we didn't include was fees for loans, because every loan has a fee on top of it. So this extra, maybe like $1,600 is for those fees. So $28,000. Imagine you take out the average amount, right? At 5% interest, you're going to pay $304.58 at a minimum for 10 years. And you will end up paying a total of $36,549, and that includes $7,899 in interest. So it's, now remember your last year in school and you're eligible for $7,500. It's kind of like you're paying for an extra year of loans in interest over 10 years. Now, if you paid it out over, let's see, 20 years, what would it look like? We're going to see a difference. So your monthly payment goes down. It's like, whew, okay. However, your interest, look at this, y'all. Look at this interest. Oh my God, this is totally doubled. Your interest is totally doubled. Right? Still got the same principal, which is the principal means the initial amount of money that you took out, but the interest is double because you're paying it over 20 years. That's real, right? Okay, so now let's go back to this guy and see. Imagine that you take out $28,000, and then you end up in a 10-year term, right? So again, this payment is $297. It's more expensive, almost $300, and then your interest is way lower. You got this cool graph here, which shows how much. You can see this lighter number is the amount of interest. So in the beginning, you're paying a lot of interest, and then as the amount gets smaller and smaller, the interest gets lower, and this darker part is the actual principal. But imagine you increase your monthly payment by even $10, right? So let's go back to that. So let's go back to, so we're not increasing it at all, and it's a 10-year period. You increase your monthly payment by $100, or let's do $50. Suddenly, you've shaved a year and 7 months off of that payment, or a year and 9 months off that payment. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good, right? Seems like no big deal at the time, but after you've been paying these payments for a long ass time, you're going to want to be done. You're going to want to be done. I'm telling you, you're going to want to be done. And they encourage you to make at least $40,000, $39,000, right? To have it be 20% of your discretionary income. Not everybody's going to make $40,000 right when they graduate. I want all y'all to make it. And so if you're maybe majoring in a field that's a little more lucrative, possibly, then maybe. But also think about graduate school debt. So now let's talk about graduate school. So at graduate school, let's talk about how much you can take out in graduate school debt. You can take out, I won't even show you, but you can take out the total cost of attendance for graduate school. And sometimes graduate school, depending on where you go, if you go to CUNY, it's cheaper. If you go to a private school, it's more expensive. Sometimes there's money for it, but a lot of times there's not a lot of scholarships for graduate school. It's a little secret. So let's say you end up going into maybe $40,000 of debt for graduate school. So now you at $68,000. Okay. Now you got this graduate degree so that you can get a better job, right? Which is real. But the 5% interest rate, that's for the undergraduate debt. And the graduate debt is actually at 7% interest rate. So, well, let's leave it at 5 now, for now. Even though it's going to be higher, let's leave it at 5 for now. Let's go back to this 10-year. So suddenly, boom, 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 we are paying $722 a month over 10 years in interest. $18,000 in interest. So $722 with the principal and interest. $18,000 in interest over 10 years. $86,000, $749 total. And they want you making an average salary of $61,000. I'm gonna tell you right now, $722, that's a lift. That's a lift. That's rent on a small room in New York City. That's not a cute look. But it's real for a lot of folks. So you want to think about taking out as little undergrad debt as possible, right? Imagine you didn't take out $28,000. Let's say in undergrad you were only in 15, right? But then you go into 40 in grad school. So now we're at 55. Hey, that's a little bit more manageable. That extra $130, $140, right? You can use to pay towards creating a savings account or something like that, right? So you want to think about these things. So let's look at an individual school and see what their average student debt rate is. So let's see, everyone's favorite, NYU. Come on. Is it not working for me? All right, so at New York University, the average is, it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. But, so these are things to think about, right? What's the total amount? And I want you to do these calculators and look at, okay, the school I'm going to, what do I expect I'm going to go into debt for the whole time? You know, but the beauty of transferring in your credits is that you go in less time, right? So if you go to a SUNY and you only go for 2 or 3 years even, that's 1 less year of debt, right? And if you can go into even less debt than that, that's advisable, because graduate school, you know, you can end up in no debt for graduate school, undergrad, and end up in, you know, a lot of debt for graduate school if you're not careful. So I hope you use these same, you know, or even thinking about programs that are like combined graduate programs. You know, thinking about employers who can pay for graduate school. Like, get creative, you know what I mean? Apply for scholarships. Get hungry. I know it's overwhelming, but I want y'all to know this stuff because knowledge is power, and with power, you can access. And I don't want any of y'all saying that your guidance counselor didn't tell you about this stuff, because I did. And I love y'all. And come and ask me any questions you want.